Okay, so this is a diamond tank player on Hanamura, and you're actually pretty strong this first fight. I like the way you jump up left side and sort of ignore the tank trade that's going down in mid. A lot of these Winston players sort of forget that they can't really go toe to toe with these death ball tanks all the time, so sort of ignoring this and taking the map is really good. Similarly, this dive you do with the Genji on the Mercy works out pretty well too. I don't really know if you did it on purpose, but landing sort of in between Mercy and her team is it's usually a good call when you're trying to coordinate a dive between two people like this, because it means she actually has to fly through you to get to her team, and you'll see you just sort of chase her down and finish her off. On top of that, this bubble you drop here is quite good too. You know, it sort of splits the front line from the back line. It covers more or less the whole of this choke point going into point. So yeah, really good from you. I would say that you don't need to get so close to this Reinhardt. You take a couple of swings here that were just sort of unnecessary. Just sort of a minor thing. You just got to remember as Winston to try and stay out of range of those death ball tanks until you're actually sort of ready to kill them. But yeah, overall first fight really good. One thing I did notice about your Winston gameplay was that it doesn't really look like you're in that much control of your dives when you actually do them, so I'm going to go over some of the mechanics for you. Okay, so Winston has quite a lot of air control when he presses shift, and it's something that you really need to use as Winston. Like you see when you tried to reach that Widow just a second ago, you just sort of press shift and pretty much failed the jump, and it's something that I could sort of see with the rest of your jumps too. It didn't really look like you were in control. Now Winston needs to use his movement keys most of the time when he goes for these jumps, because it opens up these options for him. And I guess the two main ones are going to be these short jumps, where you hold down S when you jump. You know, really good for chasing people down that are just slightly ahead of you, or, you know, particularly useful when you're in Primal and you're trying to sort of work your way around someone so you can knock them off the edge. The more general application is going to be holding down W when you jump, and this allows you to sort of jump quite a lot further. You see, you can sort of cover like quite a lot of the map, and this is something I don't think I saw you use once this VOD. So like I really recommend that you sort of like in games, maybe even in a custom game like this, you just sort of jump around and see what you can actually do by using your movement keys with Winston jumps. You know, you can use them to strafe around corners, jump further, jump shorter. But just in general, your Winston mechanics did look a little bit sloppy, so I'd definitely play around with what you can actually do on these jump packs. So you switch Reinhardt here, and I want to talk briefly about the like the sort of Rein into Winston matchup, because your job as Reinhardt versus these dive comps is to try and get yourself into a position where you can put out this massive damage against them as they come in. You know, there's going to be that brief period where they're in the fight and their jump cooldowns are still sort of coming back, and it's in this time that you really just want to be swinging away and like putting out these sort of ludicrous damage stats, because Winston's actually really vulnerable to Reinhardt in a 1v1 because of how much damage the hammer does. And I'm mentioning this because, you know, you see Winston use this jump here, you know he hasn't got it, and then you sort of go for a pin and you miss it. And while charging isn't always the wrong idea, you know, please try and understand that your sort of main job as Reinhardt versus these dive comps is to, you know, just put that damage out after they come in, because you're rarely going to be the dive target. So you really need to try and trade out on this damage when he comes in. And you see the Winston actually gets away because you go for the charge and miss it rather than just swinging on him. So here on your second attack round, you push top left again, and I want to make a quick point about Winston armor. You see you get tagged down 75 as you go into this room, and you choose not to take this mega health pack, and you go straight in. And, you know, while it might not sound like that great a trade, you know, taking a mega only for 75 health, Winston's armor is really important to him. It's sort of, other than his bubble, it's the only thing that really enables him to actually dive targets. And especially versus these sort of heroes on the enemy team, you see you're about to sort of drop down in front of a Moira, and that armor is really going to stop her from doing a lot of damage to you. I don't know why you didn't go for this health pack anyway, because like realistically there wasn't anyone else on your team that was going to need it. I'm not saying that it would have saved you in this fight that's coming up, but please try and understand that your armor is really important to you for when you're going in for these engages. Okay, so one last thing here. You switch Hog, and you just killed 3 of their team, you're chasing the Zarya and the Mercy out of front gate. You know, fair enough, you're peeking for info, poking for ult charge, yeah, no problem. You don't have hook, but yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you peek around this corner. The problem comes with, you know, just how far you actually peek out this corner. One sec. Look, like, if you look how far you're actually standing away from this corner, you know, this is insane, right? To get the info or to sort of peek around with these right clicks that Roadhog throws out, you only need to be sort of on this corner, you know? You sort of peek in and out, you know, work out what threats they have around the corner, and then sort of tailor your play to what you actually see. You don't have to run, you know, 3 meters around the corner and take this amount of damage. You see, by the time you actually make it back around, you drop down to like 370 health. And it's really pretty sloppy. The other thing is that you didn't really react to the amount of damage this Zarya can put out on you. You see, after you see her there, and you back around the corner, you take stupid damage. You sort of go back in instead of sort of addressing the fact that the Zarya can just burn you down. And I think what I'd have done here is maybe cancel this reload with the heal as soon as you get that as soon as you actually finish the reload, and then back up maybe to the right hand side up the stairs out of Zarya Mass 1 range. You know, and if you play in that range, she can't really do damage to you, but you can still sort of pressure her with your your right clicks and your hook when it comes off cooldown. Instead, you reload, you don't heal, you go back into mid on 370 health, and Zarya just burns you down. You find this blind hook around the corner, which was crazy. Like, Mercy wasn't even on your screen. Like, she ended up guardian angeling through mid towards the Winston. I guess thanks to Mercy for almost suiciding. You go for a try and combo, fail, still haven't healed, get burned down, you know, almost 600 HP you've just fed to Zarya. Really, really sloppy. Like, especially as Roadhog, even though you have maybe the best sort of self-sustainability in the game, it's so easy for Zarya to put this damage out on you, and you really end up being an ult battery for her. So try and sort of respect her a bit more. I guess the biggest things for you would be that sort of over-peaking that I just mentioned. That's something I say to a lot of players at this level. You know, you make sure you remember to use that map geometry to sort of stop taking damage when you're poking for info or poking for ult charge. You know, a lot of players are really over-peaking things. The biggest thing for you is definitely going to be those Winston mechanics, though, because your decision making on Winston was actually pretty good, right? Especially for a player at this level. And if you'd had the sort of mechanical ability to back it up, you're going to do a lot better in these games. You know, so definitely play around with the jumps you can make when you actually use your movement keys, because it really will help you.